Today we're doing jarring and dehydrating and jelly making. It's all going to be one big thing. That's because this is the last of the season. We are already hitting, got down to 3 degrees last night, so I collected all the leftover tomatoes. I pulled up the last of the jalapenos, the last of my chilies, and so right now we are slicing the chilies. I'm slicing the jalapenos. I've got the chilies ready, chopped to dehydrate. I'm not starting those until I'm done, and if I have any few leftover jalapeno slices that won't fit into the jars, then they'll go in here and get dehydrated. Then this gets ground up and turned into pepper powder. So with the jalapenos, I want a thick slice, and so it I want some nice thick slices in there. The thinner the slice, the more mushy it can become in the jarring. So first, make sure everything's sanitized. I know it looks dirty, but it's sanitized. I ran it over with bleach. We have our sliced jalapenos. We're going to fill our jar, and then I've got my homemade vinegar. I keep the old vinegar bottles for that. And we want to fill our jar about to here with the sliced jalapenos. Then when you fill this, you notice they start floating, because we want to leave as little air as possible in here for this. Now when you put this on, if you turn it upside down, you'll notice there's a little bit of air in there. That's because there's going to be air trapped by the height of the lid, and so on. When you do this, it's basically unavoidable. And but you want to put the lid on tightly. Make sure everything is washed beforehand. Then we're going to get these done and go on to the next part. Now, I'm not packing these in here. I'm spooning them in, giving it so that they naturally will go in, but I don't want to press or over compress. And then you see this is up above. That's because I have filled this almost to the very rim with my vinegar. You can use distilled vinegar, apple cider vinegar, whatever, just vinegar does it. You don't need any special pickling vinegars or anything. Make sure the lids are sealed tightly. We always have some of these little smaller jars. Mainly I do these for jellies, but like when I have just a little bit left, I can still pickle it, and that way I don't have to throw any into the dehydrator. So I get all my good sliced jalapenos. I'll show you my jalapeno stash later. So, get in here. There you go. Sliced, vinegar, jarred. Be sure to wash the jars, wash the lids, make sure everything's clean. And watch the jarring video to see how we do the final jarring process for our jellies and everything. So, this is our jarring machine. It does not jar it. It basically pasteurizes or prepares it for long storage. We're going to set it for 80 centimeters. Centimeters. We're measuring centimeters a minute ago. 80 degrees Celsius. I'm going to set it for 20 minutes. The timer will not start until the temperature is reached. So I'm good to go on that. You can do this in a pan on the stove, but it's just not as precise. However, it can be done. You can look it up if you wish. This is also a hot tea dispenser or a hot coffee dispenser, and it'll keep the temperature. So we've got a minimum and maximum. Minimum and maximum is typically with the jars in. So I've got it a little overfilled, but it's never going to reach maximum, so I'm good to go. And let's put in the jars of jalapenos. So, as you followed, we sliced our jalapenos, we put in our vinegar. Okay, that's it, nothing more. We're going to put them in the jar. It does not matter the size of the jar. What matters is your water level, the temperature, and the time. And you want to leave a little space between them. I've seen people stack them on top, but if they stack them on top on the bigger ones, you would stack it like that so that there's, and then the water would come up. But we're not having to deal with that, so boom. And back over here for my energy saving, I've got a secondary switch that also has a fuse system. I turn that on. That way, some of these things like this one has a counter that just, the light is always there telling you to set the timer when you want to use it. I don't need that. That's wasting my electricity. This one does the same thing. It has a little counter. So by having that switch, I'm not having to continuously unplug and replug, wearing my plugs down. I just flip the switch off and it gets no power at all. Then we cover it. We let it set. When it dings, I'll set my timer. I'll come back in about 30 minutes. If this is done, then I'll remove them from the water. We do not want them to continue cooking. Okay, remove them from the water, turn them upside down, let them cool. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, my timers went off for the jalapenos. We're going to pull those and let them cool. Turn them upside down, let them cool. As you see, I've got a few stacks of jalapenos running into the back. I like my jalapenos.